Welcome back to another episode of Lyrics 101. This will be part one of my two-part critique and analysis of that classic spooky stop-motion movie musical, Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now remember, as I always say, there's no perfect lyricist and there's no perfect lyric, so I'll be criticizing mistakes I've made myself. Just remember, it's my opinion. It's not the law. Yet. Now, unlike previous Lyrics 101 videos, I will not just be focusing on the lyrics, I will also be focusing on the overall narrative, because this is a legit movie musical with lots and lots of musical numbers, so the lyrics and the narrative should be locked together, and the ways in which they are and aren't is going to be interesting. What is this thing with my hands? Hello. Hello. Oh, the drugs are kicking in. Now, one more quick disclaimer. This might be your favorite movie ever. I'm not trying to yuck your yum. I'm not trying to take that from you. It's clearly an iconic movie for a reason. But I came here to do snooty critiques of lyrics and chew bubblegum. And because of COVID, there's no trick-or-treating, so I don't even have any bubblegum. Let's just get into it. The opening shot shows 7 trees, all with doors on them that represent holidays, including the 4th of July, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and finally, Halloween. Setting aside the fact that these are strictly and only the American mainstream Christian white people holidays, and setting aside the completely bonkers nature of what some of these realms would be like, particularly 4th of July town. And I'm proud to be an American. This is our first hint as to how this fantasy universe differs from our own. But before we can sit and fully ponder what it all means, we go into the Halloween tree. Okay, so right off the bat, literally the first lyrics you hear are just straight up refusing to rhyme. Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see this central of Halloween. Yes, the first 2 rhymes are age, strange, and see-ween. A lot of the lyrics in this movie don't have perfect rhymes, and so you could argue that this actually sets up the rules for how the lyrics are gonna be, but to me, it starts us off in kind of a sloppy place. The songs were written by legendary composer Danny Elfman, and yes, that includes the lyrics. This is an iconic, spooky opening number. It's so memorable, it's so catchy, but when you peel some of the outer layers away, it starts to get confusing. In the fantasy genre, you have to set up the rules of your universe to show us how they differ from the rules in the real world, and I'm already confused about them. This is Halloween, everybody make a scene, trick or treat, tell the neighbors gonna die. Setting aside the spicy grammar choices there, who are these neighbors? Who are these neighbors? But really, who are these neighbors? Is Halloweentown a place where there are non-spooky beings who get scared by spooky beings? Are they neighbors from the real world who get scared by people from Halloweentown? Is Halloweentown somehow part of the real world? Don't expect these questions to be answered clearly. Or ever. In this town we call home, everyone hail to the pumpkin song. Okay, we're rhyming home with song. Home song. Do not love that. But to continue on from my last point, if we know that there are neighbors who can die of fright, but everyone hails to the pumpkin song, including these unseen neighbors, then after a while, do the neighbors still get scared? Do they enjoy getting scared? Do they differ in a concrete way from these people singing, or are they all each other's neighbors and love scaring each other and hope to die of fright? In short, what? It may seem like I'm getting too hung up on small details, especially for so early on in the movie, but the lyrics in the first few minutes of a musical, especially a fantasy musical, are crucial because we don't know anything about the world yet. So if the lyrics to the opening number are throwing around all kinds of concrete details that don't actually correlate to the real rules of this fictitious universe, then they mislead and ultimately confuse anyone who's actually paying attention to those lyrics. Let's back up a few steps and meet these weirdos.
I am the one hiding under your bed, teeth ground sharp and eyes glowing red.
I am the one hiding under your stairs, fingers like snakes and spiders in my hair.
So are they really the things that haunt us in the real world, like Monsters, Inc. style? Because that would be a cool and specific concept. Now, if they're the abstract spirit of things that make us afraid of the dark, that's also cool. But nothing else in the movie really tells us anything more about it. And at best, it's just this throwaway thing that you forget about 5 minutes later. Hey folks, I know the editing on some of this footage is totally bonkers, but I had to really pull some tricks to even keep this thing from being blocked by the big D, if you know what I mean. So bear with me, thanks.
In this town we call home, everyone hail to the
Okay, I'm awarding some points back because I love these little goofy, foppy vampires. I would literally diver them. Well, not like that. Next is the super cool introduction of our main character, Jack Skellington.
Please make way for a very special guy.
Come and Jack is king of the pumpkin patch. Everyone hail to the pumpkin king. Now this is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween.
This is an amazing entrance, but you know what bugs me? They refer to him as Jack the Pumpkin King, King of the Pumpkin Patch, and yes, he does show up in a flaming scarecrow costume with a pumpkin on his head, but why doesn't he seem to have any royal rank or duties or a castle or a crown? How is he a king? Why is he a king? For storytelling purposes, does he need to be a king? If he were the Skull King or the Skeleton King, okay, that would be a little closer to self-explanatory. But for him to be the Pumpkin King doesn't seem to correlate with anything else. So now we meet Dr. Finkelstein and a stitched-together ragdoll woman named Sally, who he created. Meanwhile, Jack slips off to the graveyard to sing his forlorn I Want song, and this is the perfect placement for it structurally because if you're writing a musical where the protagonist has an I Want song, you probably want it to be the second or third one in the show. But how are the lyrics?
There are few who deny it. What I do, I am the best, for my talents are renowned far and wide. When it comes to surprises in the moonlit night, I excel without ever even trying.
That is such a weird rhyme situation. It barely comes near rhyming, but weirdly it doesn't feel all that out of place. Like, am I already desensitized to the bad rhymes, or does he just find a way to make wide feel like it doesn't not work when rhymed with trying? Look, as picky as I am about rhymes, sometimes something sloppy just works despite itself. So then we rhyme shriek with feet.
I have seen grown men give out a shriek. I have swept the very bravest off their feet.
And routine with screams.
It's the same routine, and I grow so weary of the sound of screams.
And it just feels like lazy, unrevised, first draft type stuff. Now, I probably don't have to tell you that Danny Elfman is one of the top 5 most accomplished and influential film composers of all time, and the music and lyrics that he wrote for his band Oingo Boingo included the iconically strange song Weird Science.
Weird science.
But I would argue that the brilliant skills he brings to composing movie scores and writing rock lyrics don't necessarily produce great work in the movie musical genre. For better or worse, when you create a new work in a certain genre, you're expected to work within the conventions of that genre. You could argue that Elfman is doing his own thing, writing lyrics in a bit more of a rock style, even though it's a movie musical, but the big challenge with genre bending or genre blending is that typically, if you're gonna do that, the work has to be better than average for both genres in order to transcend them and create your own special hybrid that stands on its own. A good example of that is, you guessed it, Hamilton. It's a very good musical, but unlike most musicals, it was written in a mostly hip-hop style. And the score successfully fulfills the conventions of hip-hop as a genre, which is why it was a best-selling album among young hip-hop fans, but also a sold-out Broadway smash among rich old white people. If Hamilton had been a well-structured musical, but the hip-hop stuff was crappy, people might think, ugh, if only he hadn't tried to do it in that style, he really flew too close to the sun. And if the hip-hop was spot on, but the musical itself wasn't that great, it would just join the ranks of the countless failed hip-hoperas that came before it. But by understanding the conventions of both genres and speaking both of their languages fluently, Lin-Manuel Miranda made something that transcended both genres and became its own unique hybrid. Now, let's apply all this to The Nightmare Before Christmas. While Elfman's music here is really good, his lyrics wouldn't be outstanding as rock lyrics nor as movie musical lyrics, so they end up being mediocre and relying on the music and the visuals to do most of the heavy lifting. So now we're in some of the most iconic shots from the entire film. The cinematography and design are just perfect. The melody here is very pretty, but then
There's something out there far from my home, a longing that I've never known.
this is the kind of lyric that drives me Cocoa Puffs. Let's break it down. There's something out there far from his home. Okay, got it. But it's a longing he's never known. I think Elfman meant to say that Jack longs for something he's never actually experienced yet, but the way it's worded sounds like the something out there far from his home is a longing. And that not only is there some abstract longing far away, but he's never known it. The longing. He's never known the longing, he says. But Jack, aren't you clearly longing for something now? Are you longing for a longing? And if you've never known the longing, are you feeling the longing for the first time right now, and that's why you've broken into song to express that longing? I know I'm asking a bunch of nitpicky questions. These are the kind of questions that are in the inside of my head all the time, so welcome, you can be a part of it now. The point is, when you break down the actual meaning of the words he chose to say, they suddenly don't make sense. And even though if you turn the sound off, or if you even took the lyrics away, you would understand the basic idea of what he's saying. That doesn't save the lyrics from being confusing. Next we have this gem.
To a guy in Kentucky and Mr. Unlucky.
Do you go and haunt people in Kentucky? How do you know about Kentucky? Also, why Kentucky? That's just so random and out of left field. It seems like they just took Elfman's first draft and went straight into production with it, like George Lucas and the Phantom Menace, don't you dare at me. This movie has such a cool premise, but you have to be specific, and the Kentucky line raises questions that are never answered. Also,
And I'm known throughout England and France.
why? Who knows you there? Why do they know you? What do you do there?
And since I am dead, I can take off my head to recite Shakespearean quotations.
Okay, I do love the idea of him taking off his head to do the Hamlet bit with the skull. Love that. Very cute. This next section, though, has some odd choices.
But who here would ever understand the pumpkin king with a skeleton grin would tire of his crown if they only understood he'd give it all up if he only could.
I think he tried to rhyme the word understand with the word grin, or maybe he just wasn't trying to rhyme. But also, he mentions a crown. We never see this crown. We hear he's a king, we hear he's got a crown, we never see the crown, we never see him in any royal setting. Elfman seems to be ignoring the rule of show don't tell, because we're being asked to absorb a lot of things we never see and integrate them into our understanding of the story. A little bit of that's absolutely fine, but it would make more sense, especially to the children this movie is ostensibly made for, if you showed us this stuff rather than telling us about it. So anyway, the song ends.
The fame and praise come year after year, does nothing for these empty tears.
Okay, I think you either meant the fame and praise do nothing for these empty tears, or your use of the phrase does nothing for these empty tears implies the word it, as in it does nothing for these empty tears, but again, the word it implies one thing, whereas fame and praise are two things. Oh, forget it. Before we move on, I just thought it would be good for me to define my personal rule of thumb when it comes to rhyming in this genre. Basically, all lyricists fudge or force a rhyme at some point. But what's a respectable amount of forced or imperfect rhymes to use? And when is it most acceptable to use them? I generally try to have an 80-20 ratio on this. At least 80% of my rhymes, I try to make sure they're perfect rhymes. Moon with goon, not moon with tomb. Hair with care, not hair with stairs, and certainly not song with home. If you can manage that, the listener subconsciously will feel like they're in good hands, like there's a sense of discipline and forethought. Then, up to 20% of the rhymes can be fudged, like home and phone, or knife and trite, etc. But when is the right time to use imperfect rhymes? Well, I think the most deserving times are when an imperfect rhyme is absolutely the best way to express what you're trying to convey. Or when the use of an imperfect rhyme helps a funny punchline land in a way that it otherwise just couldn't. Generally speaking, I don't think imperfect rhymes are some grave sin in a movie musical, but you shouldn't write them in an unexamined way. If you're gonna rhyme two things that don't quite go together, like let's say queen and seeds, no one's gonna revoke your lyricist card. But if you do that without examining and thinking through why you're rhyming those two words, then you're practicing the art of songwriting, but not the craft of songwriting. And probably the most important part of the craft of songwriting, especially in a movie musical, is revision. All right, let's get back to that movie musical. So now we focus on Sally for a minute. We learn that she collects deadly nightshade for Dr. Finkelstein, who looks like if Professor Farnsworth had a bad gene splicing accident with a platypus.
Good news, everyone!
Apparently, Sally has a habit of trying to poison Finkelstein, and also a habit of running away. He says,
"You're mine."
so we can infer from this that she's kind of in a Rapunzel situation. He tells her to be patient.
We need to be patient.
About what? We don't know. Will we ever find out? The next morning, we find Jack, who's been walking through the woods all night, and he finds a place he's never seen before. Finally, he stumbles upon the holiday-themed door trees from the first shot of the movie. Luckily, he doesn't go into St. Patrick's Day Town. Oh my God! He also doesn't go into Valentine's Day Town, which honestly sounds like the most depressing place I can think of. And then there's Thanksgiving Town, where I can only imagine people are constantly eating till they're actually in pain and napping and farting and trying to avoid that one relative that nobody wants to talk to. Anyway, the door Jack actually goes into is the Christmas one. The design of this place is gorgeous, and the music is a delightful combination of a bustling, nutcrackerish Christmas polka and Danny Elfman's signature weird chord changes.
What's this? What's this? There's color everywhere. What's this? There's white things in the air. What's this? I can't believe my eyes. I must be dreaming. Wake up, Jack. This isn't fair.
Well, what do you know? A perfect triple rhyme, proving that Danny Elfman can do that. It's always bugged me that Jack says there's white things in the air in the first verse, and then like 20 seconds later he says there's children throwing snowballs. So like, did you take a second to realize that the white things in the air were the same as the white things covering the entire ground, which are snow, which you are apparently aware can be rolled into balls, or did you learn what a snowball was off screen between verses?
The smoke started window, what came into my eyes, and in my bones I feel the warmth that's coming from inside.
Oh, that's pretty. I mean, the rhyme's not good, but like, the moment is beautiful. So Jack learns that the name of this place is
Christmas Town?
But back in Halloweentown, nobody knows where Jack is, and they're starting to get concerned. In Finkelstein's castle, tower, house thingy, Sally is once again poisoning Finkelstein's dinner. He feels suspicious, so he says he won't have any until she has a little bit. She secretly grabs a spoon with holes in it to fool him, though when she takes a slurp of the soup, they forgot to switch out the regular spoon. Small continuity error, whatever. The point is she's poisoning him. We don't know why. He's sort of keeping her in a tower. We don't know why. She could escape and has before, but still comes back and stays with him. We don't know why. So the mayor and some of his cohorts can't find Jack anywhere, but suddenly Jack returns in a combination of these two Mario Karts and calls a town meeting to tell everyone what he experienced.
It's a world unlike anything I've ever seen, and as hard as I tried, I can't seem to describe like the most improbable dream.
The concept of this song is so fun. I love how the people in Halloweentown can't really understand this stuff since their whole world is Halloween. And there are moments where Elfman has written really good lyrics with really good rhymes that grow organically out of the personalities of the characters in really fun ways.
The whole thing starts in a box.
A box?
Is it still a box?
Is it filled with a pox?
A box? How did I flip a box?
However,
Listen now, you don't understand. That's not the point of Christmas Land.
okay, so the signs we've seen say Halloweentown and Christmas Town. Is it Christmas Town or Christmas Land? How about you haven't all quite got it down, that's not the point of Christmas Town? I'm not saying that's a brilliant revision, but it would be consistent with the rules of the world they've set up. So Jack realizes he'll have to slightly bend the truth to sell the Halloweentown citizens on this whole Christmas thing.
Well, I may as well give them what they want.
So then he spectacularly ends his presentation with
The ruler of this Christmas land
Town!
is a fearsome king with a deep, mighty voice, and they call him Santa Claus.
The fact that Jack feels the need to bend the truth like this and the way he does it, I mean, it's a great touch. It grows right out of his character and the world they've set up. It's really good. But
they don't understand that special kind of feeling in Christmas land. Christmas land? Christmas town?
town or land? Town or land? Pick one! Anyway, next we see Jack working hard to research Christmas. Here's a question. Where did you get those books? Did you steal them from Christmastown/land/zone? Or is there a library in Halloweentown with books about non-Halloween things that you've otherwise never experienced? Can you go to the Halloweentown library and read the Bible? Is it a spooky Bible? Back to Finkelstein, who continues to be poisoned by Sally.
You've poisoned me for the last time.
And all we really know about Sally at this point is that she's a passive-aggressive, long-game murderer of the man who created her, so he locks her up. And then Jack shows up.
Hello, Jack Skellington. Up here, my boy.
Up here, my boy? Is that how you speak to your king? The king is the one who should be saying,
My boy.
I mean, he could have been like, come in, my liege, but like, my boy? They should have just cut the Pumpkin King thing altogether. Jack should have just been the mayor, and the mayor could have been his deputy mayor. There, done. So Jack begins to experiment with the stuff he found in Christmas Town. And he doesn't have much luck. He just ends up screwing stuff up, which is honestly a pretty good metaphor for the plot of this movie. Then Sally jumps out of Finkelstein's tower. Again, there's a vague Rapunzel thing going on here, but what are the stakes? Is she trying to cash in on his life insurance policy? Anyway, she comes to Jack and gives him some spooky wine she made and a fish bone to eat, since I guess if you want strong bones, you gotta eat your bones. And this is sort of a romantic gesture from Sally, but Jack doesn't seem to get it. Or worse, doesn't really seem to care? So Sally starts to mess with some flowers, and one turns into a Christmas tree but then catches on fire? I'll say this, they've got spooky locked down in Halloweentown. Even the flowers do scary shit. Wow. Next, the townspeople are singing a song about how Jack is holed up in his tower and they don't know what's going on with him. The lyrics start out pretty solidly, rhyming Jack with and inside with die. And the tune of the song is very Elfman-esque. It has a speculative, tentative feel. But then we go into the tower.
Christmas time is buzzing in my skull. Will it let me be? I cannot tell.
I don't mean to harp on the rhymes too much, but skull and tell? Ah! Then he says,
Through my bony fingers it does slip, like a snowflake in a fiery grip.
Okay, this is what I call sentence inversion, and despite not making it into my recent top 10 lyrical pet peeves video, it is quite a pet peeve of mine. There are some characters who would normally say something like the sentence, through my bony fingers it does slip, but it sounds like Shakespeare or Yoda. Whereas up to this point in the movie, Jack has basically talked in plain modern English. Through my bony fingers it does slip is just a lazy way to rhyme with the word grip, which isn't even a necessary word to express what Jack is saying. There are plenty of ways to say that the concept of Christmas is elusive and hard to pin down. Let's say that Danny Elfman was forced to use the word grip as the second half of the rhyme. Why not make the first half, through my bony hands it seems to slip, and then follow that up with like a snowflake in a fiery grip? It's still an inverted sentence, but it feels a bit more natural. I'm not saying that replacement is an amazing lyric, I'm only saying it's consistent with the, okay, you get it, let's move on. Something that is never explained here is, what's stopping him from going back to Christmas Town to investigate a little further? Why does he have to study it all in a lab here as if he doesn't have access to the source? If the door were now locked or snowed in from the inside, that would make sense. But as it stands, nothing's keeping him from going back.
Simple objects, nothing more but something's hidden through a door, though I do not have the key.
You ding-dong, you don't need a key, you just went right into the door! Why would you use those words to describe the state you're in right now?
It's simple, really, very clear, like music drifting in the air.
Clear and air. Don't love it. At this point you might be thinking, oh, so the guy who steals video game music and adds potty humor lyrics is gonna lecture us on the art and craft of songwriting? And you know what? That's a fair objection. I admit I do love writing silly lyrics. Sometimes they're gross or immature or whatever, but what they are not is unexamined. I think it through even if it's really silly or dumb. And that doesn't stop me from having opinions about other people's lyrics. Also, I've written a lot of other kinds of stuff too that you probably don't even know about. Anyway, so Jack realizes he could just do Christmas himself and substitute himself for Santa Claus. I do love that he decorates the electric chair with Christmas lights. Awesome visual, but there's a problem with this next line.
There's no reason I can buy. I couldn't have a Christmas time. I bet I could improve it too, and that's exactly what I'll do.
I bet I could improve it too is a very important set of words because it's a realization Jack has been moving toward for the entirety of this song, and it actually moves the plot forward. He suddenly thinks he could improve upon Christmas, which he just found out about the other day. It's great because it gives his character more dimension by showing us he has the personality flaw of hubris, and it sets up his inevitable failure. But the actual delivery of the line, I bet I could improve it too, sounds like,
I bet I could improve it too.
Just like I repeated over and over again in my recent Tasmania theme song video, if your lyrics are important, the audience needs to be able to easily comprehend them. Yes, we get the basic idea of what he's gonna do, even if we don't fully hear every word of the lyrics, but if you're gonna make that argument, why have lyrics at all? Why have dialogue? Why not make it a ballet? They did it with Edward Scissorhands. I'm not kidding. So Jack makes a declaration.
This year, Christmas will be ours!
And since he apparently refuses to just go back to Christmastown, he asks for the help of these 3 spooky little trick-or-treater children, who I don't think we've met until just now. The mayor says they're Oogie's boys.
It's Oogie's boys.
Though we don't actually know what that means yet, and I think one is a girl. I'm not trying to assign genders, but that just feels like another oversight in the screenplay. Anyway, Jack assigns them a secret mission.
The job I have for you is top secret.
But even though he asked for them specifically,
Jack said for us.
Specifically.
and told them this mission was top secret,
Absolutely no one is to know about it, not a soul.
and not to involve Oogie Boogie,
Leave that no-account Oogie Boogie out of this!
they immediately betray him by involving Oogie Boogie, which makes Jack seem naive at best. Oogie Boogie is their boss. Why didn't he think this would happen? Maybe the movie doesn't mind making Jack seem boneheaded. Get it? Anyway, the 3 kids are now off to kidnap Santa Claus, who they call Sandy Claus. Now they're gonna sing a planning song, which is an interesting subtype of song in a musical. It gives the audience information about what these characters are gonna do, so we're more aware of the stakes and more invested in the outcome. In this case, the plan is to kidnap Santa.
Kidnap Mr. Sandy Claus?
I want to do it.
Let's draw straws.
You're all doing it. That's the plan. Why would you say let's draw straws? Is it because Danny Elfman wanted to rhyme with Santa Claus?
Jack said we should work together.
Thank you. I will say, the melody of the chorus here is very good. Elfman loves the la-las! Sometimes singing sounds with no inherent meaning like la or o is a way to convey emotion without being bound by words, and here it makes you feel the mischievous joy these 3 little demon babies feel about this mission. They start contemplating how they'll kidnap Santa, and we learn a bit more about their plan.
Kidnap the Santa Claus, lock him up in time. Throw away the key and then turn off all the lights. Then Mr. Oogie Boogie Man can take the whole thing over then.
You know, I'm starting to see a pattern with Elfman's lyrics and the ones that bug me the most. It's like, so most of the time when I criticize a rhyme, it's because the end consonants are different, even though the vowels are the same, like pine and smite. They both have an I, but the consonants at the end are different. What Elfman will do in this movie that really bugs me is he'll have different vowels, like clear and air, home and song. It just really bugs me. So at this point, Elfman just takes the rhyme scheme he's established for this song and throws it out the window.
I say that we take a cannon, aim it at his door, and then knock 3 times, and when he answers, Sandy Claus will be no more.
My philosophy on this is, you can usually get away with changing the rhyme scheme of certain internal rhymes from one verse to another, like in the song Home from the Mari Yeston version of Phantom. Check it out. In verse 1 of Home, he creates an internal rhyme by using the 9th and 11th syllables of this line.
And I'm home, where every violin plays a treat as sweet as a honeycomb.
And in verse 2, he does it with the 9th and 14th syllables of the same line.
And each tear becomes a gentle tune, or duet straight by a metronome.
But notice that in both verses, he makes sure to rhyme the exact same way on the final syllables of these lines, because they're more important. If you're going to change the rhyme scheme of those operative end-of-line words, which you, the lyricist, have already established, it should only be for a very specific dramatic reason, or to surprise the audience with a punchline, like this song from the Wedding Singer musical.
So you're back where you started, on your way to success. So, will you sing at my wedding?
But when we hear,
I say that we take a cannon, aim it at his door, and then
we've been told by everything in the song up to now that the final word of the next line will rhyme with then. So when it ends up being more,
Santa Claus will be no more!
it's jarring. It just feels like Elfman decided to ignore the rhyme scheme he himself set up. That seems to be like the signature element of this movie, setting things up and then disregarding them for no apparent reason. Or not setting them up in the first place. Anyway, moving on.
You're so stupid, think now if we blow him up to smithereens, we may lose some pieces and then Jack will beat us black and green.
Jack will beat them black and green? They are children. Sure, Jack is scary and clearly torments a guy in Kentucky, but is he that type of violent? I don't know if you want to make the main character of your family-friendly Disney musical abusive to children, but I guess I'm just a snowflake like that. Next.
Because Mr. Oogie Boogie is the meanest guy around. He won't on his boogie list, boy, get out of town.
Now this is interesting. They mention a boogie list. If they were on his boogie list, they'd get out of town. What is his boogie list? What I'd like it to be is some opposite bizarro version of Santa's naughty list. But we never hear about it again. So why even mention it and get us interested in what it might be? Anyway, next we finally get an idea of what's in it for them.
They'll be so pleased by our success. That he'll reward us too, I'll bet.
Alright, good to know. Having that information earlier could have helped us understand what's going on here, but whatever. Also, while traditionally we don't need to know why henchmen do their henching, there's gotta be a clearer way to show us why they feel loyal, obligated, or enslaved enough to hench for Oogie. You might be listening to all my nitpicking and thinking, Brent, it's just a kid's movie. But I don't like that point of view because it insults the intelligence of children. It's sort of saying they don't deserve movies that are well thought out. To say nothing of the parents who have to take them to the movies and sit through the whole thing with them in the first place. Kids can absolutely understand and extrapolate things from the internal logic of a piece of storytelling. Clearly explained and consistent world building allows them to just enjoy the story rather than ending up with 100 unanswered questions about it. Moving on. Sally visits Jack to tell him about the burning Christmas tree thing that she thinks is a bad omen. And while it's nice of her to warn him, I still don't think it's clear why she's a necessary character in the movie. We just vaguely infer that she has a crush on Jack and wants to kill and/or escape from Finkelstein. You could imagine that the filmmakers are just trusting the audience to get it with her, but I don't think so. I think she's an example of an underdeveloped female character who just kind of gets moved around by the needs of the screenwriter rather than moving herself toward clear goals. She's just barely around enough to justify her Hot Topic merch. Wait, is Hot Topic still a thing? Let me see. Okay, yes, it is a thing, still relevant. Just like me. So what'll happen next? Will Sally's premonition come true? Will Jack find a way to celebrate Christmas in Halloweentown? Will Danny Elfman's lyrics suddenly be really good? Find out on the next episode of Lyrics 101, where I once again criticize the lyrics of someone who's making the same mistakes I've also made. But before you go, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll always know when I come out with new videos. Also, if you want to support the channel further, try my super fun party game, Use Your Words. It's kind of like the Jackbox game Quiplash, but funnier. Use Your Words is now available for Switch, PS4, Xbox One, Steam, and even the Wii U. Thanks for watching.